Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Lab 2, Sheet 1. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing I'd like you to do is come on into our D2L portal page, go into the content section, and under Lab 2, go ahead and click on Lab 2 assignment, the PDF document. This will give you a preview of what we're submitting this week, and there's going to be some minor changes. So this is, we are going to add dimensions. I'm going to show you that step by step in the lecture video. Then the dimension standards shown, just like last week, we're modifying those. I showed you how to do it last week. I'm going to show you again this week. And this time we're going to do it in the master title block so that you'll never have to do it again the rest of the semester. The only other thing that's different on this sheet is we're going to add center lines in between each of these lines here. The third sheet is going to be exactly the same other than our dimensional standards. And with that being said, go ahead and open up your course folder. And the title block that we created last week, just go ahead and double click on that. And we are going to modify the dimension standards in this. Last week we did it. You may have gone in, if you had done the extra step and gone in and modified those dimension standards in your master title block, then you can go ahead and skip this step. If you did not, if you just did it in the Lab 1 Sheet 1 drawing, then you're going to want to go ahead and do this. Otherwise, you're going to have to do it every single time you create a drawing in AutoCAD. So what we're going to do is just open up your master title block, click on the annotation dropdown, and click this button right here. That's dimension style. Alternatively, you can type in DIMSTY, enter, and that'll bring up your dimension style manager. Under standard, have that selected, click modify. And under symbols and arrows, change the first arrowhead to architectural tick. That should change both of them. And your arrowhead size is going to be 0.125. And if you click enter, it'll give you a little preview. Now your text, drill into text, and under text height, change that to 0.125. Click enter. Nothing in fit. And in primary units, we're going to change our precision to 1 decimal place. Click OK. Click close. And now we can just Control S to save that. And go ahead and click the X. Now with that done, your title block, you'll never have to change this master title block again, except to add some layers in the next couple of weeks. So we're just going to go ahead and Control C. So copy that title block, go on into your Lab 2 submissions folder, and just paste that into your submissions folder. Just do it once. We're going to rename it, and then we're going to copy it 2 more times. So go ahead and rename that Lab 2, Sheet 1, and then your initials. Now just copy that twice. The reason we're copying it now is so that you don't have to change the name more than just a little bit here. So it's going to be Lab 1, Sheet 1, Lab 1, Sheet 2, and last but not least, we're going to do Lab 1, Sheet 3, just like that. Go ahead and open Lab 2, Sheet 1. And the first thing we always do in our title blocks is change the Lab X, Sheet X to whatever drawing it is. So if you happen to have your title block saved in model space, just go ahead and click Sheet 1 down here in the bottom right, or I'm sorry, the bottom left. Then left click anywhere on your title block, any of this text, just left click 1 time. It'll highlight the whole thing. Go ahead and right click, block editor. And now it'll give you the ability to edit this text down here. And this is going to be Lab 2, Sheet 1. Go ahead and click out, close the block editor. Yes, you want to save those changes. And double click the middle mouse wheel. That'll center your plot again. And now we can drill back into model space down in the bottom left. Now with that, we are going to go ahead and get started here. Before we do, I'm just going to touch on, touch on the tools that we're going to be using. Some of them we used last week. Some of them are new this week, but I'm going to go ahead and go through those now. So in the draw toolbar here in the ribbon, this is the ribbon. In the draw toolbar, we're going to be using the XL line, the poly line here. We're going to use the polygon tool, which is if you click this little rectangle or this little caret next to rectangle, it's just nested underneath the rectangle tool. We're going to be using the rectangle tool like we did last week. We're going to use the arc, the 3-point arc, the circle, actually, you know what? We're not using the ellipse this week. We're going to do that next week. And we're going to use the point, which there's not a little button for it. What you can do is type point, P-O-I-N-T, and then it'll allow you to create little points that you can then snap to. I'm going to go ahead and delete those for now. In the modify toolbar, we're going to be using copy, which we used last week. We're going to be using mirror, which is new, offset, which we used last week, the array tool. We're going to be using rotate, scale, stretch, trim. Where's trim? Trim is right here. We're going to be using extension, which underneath trim, nested the little caret. You can click it. This is going to be the extension tool, the extend tool. We're going to use break, which is not actually in here. You're going to have to go ahead and type BR enter, and that will allow you to break a line like this. And we're going to use the chamfer tool right here. So with all of that being said, I know that sounds like a lot. We're going to go through step by step, do our 3 drawings here, and we're going to keep using these tools for the next couple of weeks. So it might seem like a lot now, but as you use them more and more, they all become second nature. And once you get really good at CAD, or not even really good, once you get even a little bit better than where you are right now, and you want to draw something in CAD, you're going to be able to pull on all these tools in your toolbox without really thinking too much about it. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'd like you to do, last week we turned off our grid snap. Remember this little button right here, that turns the grid on and off. And this little button right here turns on the snaps. You can snap to any of these little intersection points with where your lines are. So go ahead and turn that on and grab your rectangle tool. Remember, you can click here or you can type REC enter. And I'm just going to start like kind of somewhere arbitrarily right up in here and go ahead and click on this point. Now, before I click again, I'm going to type B for dimension, D enter. And I'm going to enter 4 and then at 4 enter and then 3 enter for length and width, or length and height in this case in 2D. So now before I click again, now we have to select a quadrant just like we did last week. And I'm going to kind of drag down and to the right and go ahead and click 1 time left click. Now, the next thing I'd like you to do is grab your drop down under circle and click the circle diameter tool. Go ahead and click that. Alternatively, you can just type C enter for circle. If you do it that way, when you click your circle, it's going to ask you for a radius. So you can type D enter for diameter, and now it will ask you for a diameter. So once we have our circle diameter tool, starting at this top left, we still have our grid snap on. And remember, each of these bolded intersecting lines, these grid lines, is a 1/2 inch. So that's a 1/2 inch, that's a full inch, that's 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So what we're going to do is come over 6 lines. So the first not bold line after the first bold line. Come over 6, come down 6. Oop, right there. Go ahead and click. And we are going to type 0.75, enter, for a 0.75 diameter, 3/4 inch diameter circle. Now, the next thing we're going to do is select that circle and mirror it to the other side. So how to do that? We're going to select it, click on the mirror tool. Alternatively, you can type MI, enter. Select the midpoint here. And actually, I'm going to turn my grid snap off. I don't like it. After I start a point, I don't really like to have it snapping all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Hover over the midpoint until you get the little triangle, then left click once, and you can drag it up or down. And you can see if you drag it all around, you're gonna create basically a line, a mirror plane, if you will, that you're able to mirror your circle across. So to mirror horizontally, you drag a vertical line, and that's how you're gonna mirror it left and right. If you want to mirror it vertically, then you're going to drag a horizontal line and you're going to mirror across that line. So go ahead and drag it up, click, and then it's going to ask you if you want to erase the source object. So you want to click no. If you click yes, I'm going to do this again. If you click yes, so if I just mirror it right to there, for example, and I say yes, you can also type Y, enter. You don't just have to click here. You can type Y, enter. It will delete the original one. If you do that on accident, it's okay. Just click Control Z and you'll get it back. Next, let's mirror these again. MI, enter, or again, you can just click right up here in the modify toolbar. Let's do a vertical mirror across this horizontal line here from the midpoint. Go ahead and drag it out. No, we do not want to erase the source objects, and we are well on our way. So the next thing that you need to do, if we look here, is to create this hexagon that all sides are tangent to the outside of the circle. So in order to do that, we're going to use the polygon tool. Now, the easiest way to get to that is underneath the rectangle tool, just click this little caret, click the polygon tool once. And before you click anywhere, it's going to say, how many sides do we want? And we want a hexagon, so we're going to type 6, enter. Specify the center of the polygon. So right here, if you hover, so like you see, we don't have like the center point of the circle here. So if you just hover over without clicking, hover over the perimeter of the circle, the center point will show up and you'll be able to snap to that. So go ahead and snap to that, click once. And if you click inscribed in the circle, you're going to create a polygon that is touching the circle with its corners. If you, and let me go back into that 6-sided polygon, select the center. What we want to do is circumscribe our polygon about the circle. So that means we are, the edges are touching. So go ahead and drag it straight up. If you drag it to the left or to the right, it's not going to show up for how we want to show the bolt in our front view. So you want to just drag it straight up so that there's a horizontal line at the top and bottom, and left click once. Now from there, go ahead and select your polygon, and we're just going to use the copy tool to copy that around. So you can click up here. Alternatively, you can type CO, enter. Go ahead and hover over, grab your center point of your circle, and we could just go ahead and copy this around. And the copy tool is cool. Until you click escape, you can just keep making copies. So it's really quick. And then once you're done, click escape, and there you have it. Now, the next thing I'd like you to do, go ahead and turn your grid snap back on. Grab your rectangle tool. So right here, or you can click REC, type REC, enter. And starting maybe an 1.5 inches down, remember, so that's 1, 2, the third bold line down. Go ahead and start there. Drag it kind of out this direction, like down and to the right. D, enter for dimensions. And this time we're going to type 4 enter for the length and 0.5 enter for the width or the height. Now with this, we're going to drag down and to the right, click once, and there you have what's going to be our front view. So at this point, the easiest thing to do here now is to create some construction lines, projection lines or construction lines that we're going to use to make sure that we're showing the location of all of these edges in the front view accurately. So we can come in, drill in under the draw toolbar right here, and you can go ahead and grab your construction line. Alternatively, you can type XL enter, V for vertical, enter. And now we have a vertical line. And see our grid snaps on, so it's not letting us snap to where we want. So go ahead and turn that grid snap off now. And then go ahead and snap to all of the corners on your polygons, just the lower two. Because if you see, we have the the upper, they're going to be in line with the polygons up above. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to offset this top line right here. We want to offset this by 0.375, so 3/8. But if we remember, so we have a polyline now. And if you remember from last week, if we offset that, O enter, or you can just click up here in the modify toolbar, O enter 0.375, enter, it's going to offset the entire thing. So if you remember from last week, we can do what's called explode this polyline into individual line segments. So we can just highlight that polyline, type X, enter, and then now we have 4 individual line segments. And with that, highlight the top line, go ahead and offset that by 0.375. And then before you click, you can click up, above or below the line. You want to go ahead and click above, click escape. Now with that, we need to use our trim tool. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this line right here, and then type TR enter, just one time though, TR enter, because remember last week we did TR enter enter, and that allows you to just kind of trim off all kinds of stuff. This week, we're just highlighting the line, TR enter once. And now what this allows us to do is trim all of these lines above or below this line. So we don't want to drag below because we're going to trim off what we need. So what we could do now is just kind of click once, drag across, and it's going to trim everything above that line. That's what that does. And then if we do TR, just click TR enter, this is going to give you your power trim here, or just TR enter, I'm sorry, that's going to give you your power trim. And now we're going to do the same thing as we just did at the top line with this. So we're going to highlight that line and then type TR enter. And then anything below that line now gets trimmed off, just like that. And then we can TR enter, enter, and trim that guy, just like that. And with that, we have our Lab 2 sheet 1, and now all that's left to do is add dimensions. So come up here and grab your dimension tool. And remember, your dimensions should already be set up if you have modified it in your master title block before you copied and renamed them. So go ahead and click dimension. Alternatively, you can type DIM enter. And from here, we're just going to go ahead and copy the dimensions on, oh, I'm sorry, there are no dimensions on the drawing that you have. So in that case, these are the dimensions that you're going to put on. Start at the top left to the bottom left. And then I'm going to kind of drag this out here and type 0.5 enter. Again, you could just click, you can click wherever you want. I like to be a little bit more precise about where I'm placing my dimensions so that they're all equally offset off of the part. I think it looks more professional that way. And when you are creating professional looking documentation for manufacturing or for an end user, it just is nice to have very intentional dimensional standards, if you will. So then grab your DIM tool, DIM enter, click this point here, and then you can drag, just drag straight out. And we're going to type 0.5, enter. Nope. 0.5, enter. So sometimes because of where I was, it's going to drag it farther than this. So what we can do is just highlight this dimension, grab one of these points, and then now it's not going to give me like that diagonal dimension like we had the first time. And then I can just snap right to here, click OK, or click left click, and now it's perfectly lined up. Dimension tool again. Snap right there. Dimension here, across the top, 0.5, enter. From the top right to the middle of this circle, again, you can just hover over for a second, grab that, drag it out, 0.5, enter. It's not doing it. That's close enough. DIM enter. Go ahead and grab the center point. And then to the edge also should be 0.6. Just kind of drag it down. I'm going to type 0.75, enter. That's good enough. Now we want to get a diameter on this circle. So it will sometimes it will, when you're in the dimension tool, sometimes it'll give you what you want. But the best way to do it is to come up here to this. If it's not there for you, you just use the drop down, grab your diameter tool, and then go ahead and click somewhere on the perimeter of that circle, and then just kind of drag it down somewhere in this area. If you want to like line it up with the bottom, you could do that too. Just like hover over for a second and then drag it out. You could do something like that. That looks pretty good, but whatever looks good to you. Now with this dimension, we don't want the architectural tick. We want a little arrow. So we can hover over this dimension, or I'm sorry, we could select this dimension. And then in your properties toolbar, and remember, if that is not up, just type properties, enter, and it will bring up this menu. But it should be there because that's how we had it set up last week in this drawing. Go ahead and change in lines and arrows, change the architectural tick to a closed filled arrow. And then under center mark, change your mark to none, just like that. And that makes that little crosshair, that little mark right there, that makes that go away. Just say none. Now, what I want you to do for this drawing is change the precision of all of these dimensions to 2 decimal places. So the easiest way to do that is type dimsty, enter. And this will not change it forever on every single drawing. This will only change it on this drawing. The reason doing it in the master title block changed it for every drawing is because we're going to use that as a template, copy it every single time, and create a new drawing with it. So in this drawing, we're going to click modify. And under primary units, we're going to change that to 2 decimal places. Click OK. That's going to change all of our dimensions. Last but not least, highlight this 0.38 dimension. And this, if you scroll down here to primary units, you can change the precision of that to 3 decimal places. Alternatively, you can highlight it, right click, and then under precision, change it to 3 decimal places. That's another way to do it. With that, we have our drawing the way that I'd like you to submit it. So go ahead over to sheet 1 and save it. You should have been saving the entire time. You should always be saving the entire time. But go ahead and click, save it. Make sure it looks good the way it's plotted here. Right click on share. I'm sorry, the way that it's laid out here. right click on sheet 1, click plot. And under page setup, click hack title block. We shouldn't have to change anything else. Everything is all set up from last week. We click OK. And browse to where you want to save this. So you want to go into your CAD 154 course folder, lab 2, submissions, and title this lab 2, sheet 1, and then your initials. Click save. And then just go in and take a look. So we're going to open it up and make sure it should just plot perfectly every single time because of how we set it up last time. And there you have it. This is what you submit to the Lab 2 Dropbox.